We're live, we're live, we're live. Think bigger.
Good morning. How are you folks doing? Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
I'm good. I tell you, today's topic is whatever you're thinking, think bigger.
Think bigger.
Think bigger than that. And we're going to talk about it
Bigger
today.
than that.
Yeah.
Think bigger than you. You thought you had it big? Think bigger. I'm going to share with you a conversation that I had with a client yesterday, and it is good.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like.
Good morning. I'm glad that you're here with us today. We're going to have a good topic today. You know, there's some classic books and there's some classic thinkers on the concept of think big and think bigger. There's some classic classic conversations about that. One of the books that I read in the 90s, I first read in the 90s, that really made a difference in my life. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz.
Hey, Miss Phyllis.
The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. Now, there's been a ton of books since that book came out, but a lot of books reference The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. And the book is written on a kind of like an academic level, you know, so you got to pay attention. He uses big words in it and stuff.
Big words is.
Yeah, and it's a really book. It's really a great book, but it's not a simple read. Okay, you got to really understand some stuff.
That's right. Miss Phyllis says off the shoulders. Yes, that's just for you. Think, think.
Yes, it is. So, but the concept of thinking bigger really permeates so much of your life. And in my research this morning, oh my God, I found out that I need to think a lot bigger.
Thinking bigger.
Yes.
Thinking bigger is actually a responsibility for believers.
Okay, I like that. Thinking bigger is a responsibility for believers. I like that because the word belief has a lot to do with this concept.
Absolutely. But as believers, we have a certain number of mandates that we're required to follow. We're supposed to be the lender and not the borrower. You got to think big to be the lender, right? You got to have enough to lend. And we are supposed to give so that it can be given unto us. Those things require us to think bigger. We are to take care of one another. Am I your brother? Am I my brother's keeper? Absolutely.
Yes, we are. Remember that from New Jack City?
Everybody remembers that. From New Jack City.
Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, we are.
I think I've only watched that movie about 3 times.
That's about enough, yeah.
Yeah, about 3 times. But I do like to watch clips from it every once in a while.
Me too. It's just amazing. So Miss Phyllis, what does it mean to you when you hear the concept of think bigger?
Think bigger.
I had a gentleman reach out to me yesterday. He says, Brian, I'm 59 years old, and I work about 75 to 90 hours a week driving Uber. And I'm not where I want to be financially. And I'm 59. This is what he's telling me, okay, yesterday. And he's working up to 90 hours a week driving Uber. But this is a man I've known probably, I'm going to say 25, 30 years. Okay, because he used to be in home improvement sales when I was in home improvement sales. And I moved on to being a contractor, trainer, a sales trainer, and he was still in the game. And he still likes the business, but he's not doing it now. So he gave me an idea to think bigger because him and a couple of weeks ago, Mr. George Allen, aka Chef Rev. Chef Rev was talking about the ordeal him and his wife had to go through to get new windows in their home. He says, Brian, you need to call every contractor and teach them how to sell. None of these people know how to sell. So knowing this dude, I was like, I got a big idea to train contractors. And I started to write, what if your salespeople were better? And I'm looking forward to my workshop tomorrow night as well. Woo, woo, woo. My workshop tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. They can register for it at virtualsalesmgr.com.
Mm-hmm. We're going to get to that too. So, good morning, Miss Barbara Mosley. The concept of think bigger. What does that mean to you? I got some quotes from the classic, The Magic of Thinking Big quotes. I want to share as much of them as I can. But what does it mean to you? Miss Phyllis says,
I think depending on where you are in life, in parentheses, age, how big you can think and actually accomplish it at any age, really.
So that's interesting. You think it depends on where you are in life as an age. So like say someone that's 25 versus someone that's 65. Is that right, Miss Phyllis? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. So I had an interesting conversation yesterday from a client. Without divulging too much of the conversation, he is usually shooting for the stars. And as such, he often reaches the moon. He often hits some of the marks that he wants to. Well, that from someone on the outside looking in, they think, whoa, you're doing this, you're whatever. But it requires some very difficult thinking on his part. And it actually requires sometimes him thinking beyond what's possible. More often than not, him thinking beyond what's possible to even get to what's attainable.
So he's a big thinker. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times big thinkers need help around them, people around them to help them. You don't want to couch the big thinker. You want him to think big, because he can pull people along.
Right.
But they misstructure stuff a lot of times. That's necessary. It's interesting you brought that up. Natural thinking bigger. I'm going to say some of the quotes here, and I want us to kind of chop it up a little bit. Cool?
Sure.
The first one I got, believe, because when Lisa said, as believers, that's when it's like, oh man, that makes so much sense. Believe it can be done. When you believe something can be done, really believe, your mind will find ways to do it.
Absolutely.
Believing a solution paves the way to solution. When you believe that something can be done, your mind will conspire the world around you to make sure that this happens. It's like a concept of being anastrophic. You believe in the whole world is conspiring to do you good. When you believe it can be done, though you may not know how, okay? But if you believe it can happen, the world will conspire to make it fit.
It can be often difficult to be the one that's believing something when it's not common or when it seems beyond belief. Just like I believe that the Wright brothers probably had some tremendous challenges, even being able to continue to believe that what they had was even possible.
Yeah. They had the Wright brothers, if you're not familiar, they are credited of building the first airplane that was successful.
Right.
Okay. It's an interesting story how they were bicycle manufacturers. They built bicycles out of their barn is what they did for a living. And they got the idea. And what would happen is lots and lots of people, not just the Wright brothers, would be enamored with this idea of flying. Mm-hmm. They had all kinds of crazy contraptions. I mean, wings and motorized this and that. And a lot of them failed and crashed. And they were trying too. And they got to go a little bit further than others did. Mm-hmm. And they're given credit now.
Absolutely.
But
because they didn't give up and they got the funding to continue it.
Yes.
Because they were able to sell their idea to someone else.
Sister Shirley says, I always think bigger and want to do better.
Amen.
I always think bigger
Amen.
And want to do better. Sister Barbara Mosley says,
share your belief with positive minded people.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's a necessity. That's why it's so important to manage your circle. Mm-hmm. Because if you get around people that are always poo-pooing and saying that's not possible and nobody can do that or whatever, it's going to really have an impact on what it is that you can do. That's why it's important for you to change your environment and to get around people that are doing things that you may not even believe were possible.
Yes. Get around doers, which leads to my next quote. The mind is what the mind is fed. What are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your mind?
Thank you, Barbara. Barbara says, Lisa, you look beautiful and bright this morning. Well, thank you. Thank you. We're taking some time off, a half a day today, not a whole day, but we're taking some time off.
Well, I'm going to work out there too because there's stuff I got to get done. But we're going to do some leisure things today. Look at things not as they are, but as they can be. Visualization adds value to everything. A big thinker always visualizes what can be done in the future. He isn't stuck in the present.
Absolutely.
Picture, imagine, visualize, see things as they can be, not just as they are.
Absolutely. That is so important.
Yes, it is. Because if you only could see things as they are, you create no avenues, no rooms, no direction, no way to get greater.
Mm.
You can't. Okay, that's all it is. It's that kind of thinking would have kept this country still in slavery if they only looked at things as they are instead of as they could be.
I do. I get it.
Hope is a start, but hope needs action to win victories. I love that line. Hope needs some action to win victories.
It's too much for me to type, Shirley, so I can text it to you.
Yeah.
Maybe I can take it. No, she wants the next one. She wants that one.
Look at things not as they are. Okay.
Good morning,
Sister Glenda. How you doing? You trying to write on that?
Yes.
Because I want to keep it moving.
You can't.
We got to do what Sister Shirley asked us to do. I want to keep it moving. We probably get out of here maybe 10 minutes early today.
No, we're not getting out of here.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We're getting out of here 30 minutes early, and I'm not taking any more answers from you.
Don't make me come over there, baby. No, I don't need to get out of here no 30 minutes
early. Like I said, we need to get out of here at 9:30 today.
Nice, man. We can wait till 9:50. That way we could be really, really close to on schedule. Greg. She said no. Thanks, Lisa. I gotta keep it moving, baby.
You can't talk to the people.
I want to scroll.
I don't care what you want to do. I don't care what you want to do.
You do care what I want to do.
Not right this moment. No, not right this moment. I do not.
Oh my God.
I need you to just relax.
I'm not gonna just relax. That's not my style. So, Greg, what's going on, man? While Lisa's playing around with her other stuff, I could talk about some other stuff. Oh man. What is the name of the workshop tomorrow? I forgot what the name of it. I called it.
Getting to the Yes.
Getting to the Yes Faster. I'm doing a sales workshop tomorrow called Getting to the Yes Faster. Things you need to do to get your clients to say yes to you faster than they normally would. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Yes. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It's a free webinar, Getting to the Yes Faster. I'm going to teach you what will make them say yes and understanding what makes them drag their feet and how to get past stalls. But tomorrow night, we're doing a workshop, Getting to the Yes Faster. You can register at virtualsalesmgr.com. Can you put that up there, please?
Yes. Barbara says, listen, Brian. Shirley said, listen to Lisa, Santiago, McNeill, Brian K. McNeill.
Greg Gray says, all is well, family.
You
both are amazing.
Thank you.
Speaking of us both being amazing, August the 26th, Lisa Santiago McNeill is going to deliver a preached word at Freedom Worship Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let me tell you about this event that you're on that you don't even know. It's going to be a vending event, yes, but they have a stand-up comedian that's going to be there. And stand-up comedian is going to perform too. And then Lisa's going to deliver a preached word. I wrote up the script for the promo this morning for them. But they're going to be inspired. They're going to be tickled. They come as they are, but they're going to leave feeling inspired and happy and joyful. I wrote it all out this morning for them and I sent it in. Okay. This is one of those mornings when I got up to do my morning pee and never went back to bed.
Good morning, Dr. Beverly. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Dr. Beverly. Thinking bigger. I feel so, there's a quote about that too. I thought I was a big thinker, but I used to be a bigger thinker than I am right now. And I need to be a bigger thinker than I am right now. I need to be bigger thinker.
I agree. I was a much bigger thinker. I don't want to say almost.
When we were younger.
No, I'm not even talking about younger. I'm talking about since I've met you.
What about since you met me?
So I was a bigger thinker even before I met you.
Mm-hmm.
Like 8 years ago, like almost exactly before I met you. Because I had some...
It's my fault then.
No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Ease up. It was the latitude that I was the only that the only voice in my head was big. Okay. And it didn't have to make sense. I'm grateful that it doesn't have, it didn't have to make sense. It just had to come to me.
Sister Glenda says she's going to be there. That event sounds wonderful. She's going to be there for August 26th when you're going to deliver a preach word. Lisa's my favorite preacher. That's what I told them too, because they asked me to stick too. And I was like, you know what? My favorite preacher is Lisa, so let's do her. Dr. Tom Beverly says, I heard what you said, Lisa. Dr. Beverly says, just as long as you don't sing and shut up, girl. I don't even want to read it.
She says, just as long as you don't sing and moan, then I believe the function will be fantastic. Well, I hope that you can cover as well, Dr. Beverly. Sister Barbara will send you the church information as soon as we get it. They have updating the flyers and stuff.
You'll have it by Friday is what they told me.
Well, I got to give them the pictures and stuff. I haven't sent them.
Yeah, because they want everything done. Send it to me. I'll get it to them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Good morning, Katura.
Katura, good morning. On August 26th, if you haven't heard, Lisa's going to deliver a preach word. It's going to be in the evening too, by the way, not during the day. It's Saturday evening service. So those of you who can't drive past 4:00, y'all going to miss it.
Good morning, Carm. Hey, Carmelita. Good morning to you.
Carmelita. She's in the... I don't see her. Okay. Well, good morning, Carmelita. What is thinking bigger? Today's our topic. Whatever you're thinking, think bigger. Things I learned this morning, a couple of things erode your ability to think bigger. Like one of them is when you don't do what you know you're supposed to be doing, you feel guilty, and guilt eats away at your confidence.
Oh, yeah, I think that can be true. Good morning, William Brown. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Of all days, Mr. William Brown, good morning. We're talking about thinking bigger.
Oh.
But when you don't do, or when you don't do what you're supposed to do, or intentionally do the wrong thing.
Intentionally?
Yes. Or if you do the wrong thing intentionally. Yes. Okay. If you do the wrong thing intentionally or don't do what you're supposed to do. So, either one of those things, let me finish your point. Either one of those things makes you feel guilt, and guilt eats away at confidence. Now go ahead, baby.
Doing the wrong thing intentionally. I
conspiring
about that.
Conspiring to steal or conspiring to deceive. Okay. Yeah, I'm just not going to tell them this or tell them that. I'm going to hold this information to myself. That's doing the wrong thing intentionally.
Greg says procrastination stunts your growth.
Yes, it does. And that goes back to the earlier quote that hope needs action, needs to be fed some action. Action kills procrastination.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, my newest author number 129, Cynthia Moore, has crept up. She is now bestseller in 2 categories.
That's
and
right.
She has crept up in the ranks from 10 to 9 in one of the categories.
So she's 9th bestseller in one category,
yeah,
and 5th bestseller in another category.
Yes,
I love that story, but I really believe when you get an author who's been published now less than a week
Yes.
to bestseller status, top 10 status in 2 different categories, that's more of a testament to her publisher and her coach. That's more of a testament to your skills that you've learned how to position your authors, position your works so they can get the bestseller status. And you should be happy about that. You should celebrate that. You should be excited about that.
Absolutely. And you can order your copy if you haven't. Just go to theempowermentduo.com. It's the first book in the list. And we're excited for you supporting our author. You'll get to meet her on Thursday.
Greg reminded me of something else. Most of us make these 2 basic errors.
Mm-hmm.
We underestimate our own intelligence or our own power.
Now, that is definitely a truism.
We underestimate how capable we are. We underestimate how powerful we are,
how valuable
and how
we
smart we are, how valuable we are. And we tend to overestimate the other person's intelligence.
Absolutely. Imposter syndrome is real.
Underestimate ourselves and overestimate them.
Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
What?
That's imposter syndrome. And I think it is a really big thing. It's looking over, thinking that thing is bigger, better, and more profitable than what it is that you have. And it actually can allow us to minimize our value and therefore minimize.
Make us smaller.
Yeah.
Think smaller.
Absolutely.
Dr. Beverly says.
Thinking bigger, to me, I can do says I can do all things and I can accomplish my goals and nothing is impossible. All things through Christ who strengthens me. I am the greatest.
Amen. Katura says, I agree with that statement. We do underestimate our own selves and overestimate the other person. Good morning, Cynthia Moore. We've been bragging on you this morning. She says, I came home to listen to you guys.
Amen.
Well, we're going to have a short show today. We're going to go to about 9:50 or 9:45, somewhere in that range, because we got an appointment that we got to be there by 10:30 today, and it's 20-something minutes away. So if the show ended at normal time, we'd have to boogie in our car. I already got gas in the truck. We're going to jump in the truck and go.
Anyway, Katura says, I agree with that statement. We do underestimate ourselves. We do. And that's right, Sister Barbara. Tell them 9:30. I said what I said.
Dr. Beverly says.
Yesterday, I couldn't stop laughing. I forgot to let you know the one thing that won't change is the great VCR.
Mark Greer, I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you, Brother Mark.
Mark Greer says
this morning.
Thinking bigger is the gateway to doing bigger and better things. As you think, so shall you become.
Amen. Amen.
William Brown says, I have a little problem thinking big.
It's a little problem, period. Thinking big, period. My challenge is believing big.
And you're right, William Brown. The believing has a lot to do with this.
It has almost everything to do
Damn
with
near everything.
As a man
you're
thinketh,
right.
So is he. And if you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're right. Either one, either way.
These are quotes I'm quoting from the classic book, Magic of Thinking Big. Here's one. Then it dawned on me that no one else is going to believe in me until I believed in myself.
Absolutely.
Now, I know that's a statement and it doesn't have solutions in it. William Brown says, my challenge is believing big. This statement is true, but it doesn't have a solution in it. So maybe we can come up with one. I didn't finish an earlier point I was making. I said the 2 things. One of them is feeling guilt, and that erodes at confidence, self-confidence. But the other thing that hurts your belief is when other people discover, because they will eventually discover that you're not doing or whatever. Eventually they'll come up or they'll discover it. And then other people believe in you less. And when other people are believing in you less because of your guilt,
it can affect you.
It's crushing.
Absolutely. I often think about that when I think about the concept of the Wizard of Oz. And I feel like, a lot of the
good analogy
power that they ascribed to him was because they didn't ascribe it to themselves. It was really their own.
Right.
But because of the fact that he was using the smoke and mirrors and curtain and behind the curtain and all of these things.
He was the great and powerful Oz until they pulled back the curtain.
It's seen this little tiny man sitting back there. Right. But
that little
was
tiny
he
man
great?
revealed
He was great.
that they already had what they were looking for within them.
And it was necessary for him to encourage them the way that he did, even if it was backhanded, even if it was unfounded. That way that they gained confidence in themselves was because of him.
Sister Shirley said, first off, Sister Jacqueline says, morning and
Good
blessings.
Good morning, Sister Jacqueline.
And Shirley says, I am like, if they can do it, I can too. That's a much more positive way.
Absolutely.
And that's always true. If other people can do it, you can too.
It is.
Dr. Beverly says,
I agree with underestimating. Until I see in my mind, wait, that's it. I know my discovery is I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah. But even that, I don't want to mess it up, couches you to messing it up.
Absolutely.
Because your brain, your brain can't focus on the opposite of what it wants. Like if you say to your mind, I need to lose some of this big stuff, the brain sees big stuff. Or stop being a pig, the brain hears being a pig. Okay. Don't throw the ball here. That's where the ball's going to go. Okay.
Absolutely. Believe in yourself. Sister Shirley says, always believe in yourself. That was one of my favorite songs from The Wizard of Oz as well. Not The Wizard of Oz, The Wiz. As I believe in you.
The point is clear. People who get things done in the world don't wait for the spirit to move them. They move the spirit. Mark Greer, can I get an amen on that? Whenever the spirit moves me, I'm going to go do it.
Move your spirit. Just talk to your spirit and move your spirit.
I'm going to ask her out when the mood hits me or when the spirit hits me. You're missing your opportunity.
That's it. Glenda says, we have everything within us what we want.
To achieve what we want. She's right.
Amen.
Brother Mark gave me my amen I asked for.
Amen. William Brown says, other people believing in us is tricky. Sometimes others believe in you and you don't believe in yourself. And there are times when you believe in yourself and others don't. The power comes when we believe in ourselves.
William Brown, you're right again. It's so much more art than science, this belief in thinking bigger. It's not a clear delineating line to me. William Brown highlights that wonderfully well, I think.
What is the name of the book that you're...
The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz.
The Magic of Thinking Big, Sister Shirley. Good morning, Sheila.
Good morning,
Thank you for joining us.
Dr. Sheila M. Gothard decided to use her full today.
Well, she's in LinkedIn.
But she blessed me yesterday with beautiful pictures of her grandbaby holding my book. Thank you for that.
Amen.
I really appreciate those pictures and enjoy them. She was actually yesterday boarding a plane. She says, Brian, I'm getting ready to get on a plane with two energetic young people. And I think their ages were 3 and 5. Whoa. Apparently she reached her destination safely.
She's in New Orleans or New Orleans.
Nolans.
Sister Barbara says, always think positive. Thinking positive is a journey, and it is a great place to place yourself in every chance you can get.
Let me make a confession. Yesterday, I was feeling a little bit, I had a big deal that was due on Monday, fell through yesterday on Monday, and I was discouraged about it. And I went to my LinkedIn videos. Mm-hmm. And I started watching my LinkedIn video testimonials about how effective my stuff was. And I watched like 6 of them. Videos about working with Brian or right after they came from a workshop. And I gotta be honest, it bolstered my spirits. That I got a reminder from other people who had an experience with Brother Brian and was willing to stand in front of a camera and sing my praises. It made me feel better.
Yeah, and it should.
Mm-hmm.
And it should. It's now 9:28.
We're only going to be going for another 15, 20 more minutes before we get out of here today.
We're getting ready to get out of here. I promise you. I promise you.
You promised them what?
We're getting out of here.
Why?
Because I said 9:30.
And did you run it by the proper chain of command? Did you ask the proper chain of command?
You want to do this public on TV.
Sister Barbara Moses, Brian, the girls and I talked love. Oh, yes, they did. They talked love. That was one of the chapters in the book. I got a video clip yesterday from a grandmother who wanted to send as a short video clip of her granddaughter reading the chapter of love in my book 932 to her parents. And I love that video. You can't see her face real well because it's all from video from the side, but I wanted to see her face as she was reading the chapter of love to her parents.
Susan asked, who is the author again of the book about the magic?
David Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. Good morning, Susan. And Dr. Beverly says,
we love you all. Have a great time. You are excused with respect.
What are you trying to say, Dr.?
She's trying to save your behind.
Brother William Brown says,
just better save your brother.
Brian, I see you are digging today. Chain of command. She know. Susan says, thank you. Mark Greer says,
At the end of the day.
That's not what he says. He says, at the end of the day, it comes down to you. If you can't believe in yourself, the question is, why? If you won't believe in yourself, the question is, why? If you don't have the confidence to believe in yourself, the question is, why? Everything starts with self. If you can truly answer the why, you will get to the root cause. Even self-esteem begins with self.
I love self.
Amen.
Begins with self. Cat Williams said, it's esteem of yourself.
Of your mom. Okay, let's wrap it up then. So we go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Dr. Beverly says, oh, wait, just don't forget to have sex. That's right. Don't forget to have sex.
Sister Glenda says, it is amazing how once you make your mind up, how things start to fall in place. The task can be accomplished. Let's get them all up.
Absolutely. Dr. Sheila says, I will find out the name of my grandson's teacher today, and I'll send you the name along with the
Thank you. That helps a lot.
Because
trying to find these things is difficult.
Absolutely. Jacqueline says, born a big thinker, aka pioneer, and a glass ceiling breaker. I had to often rock boats and disturb the status quo. I make sure I stay connected to big thinkers. The only way to stay focused and confident. Thanks, Empowerment Duo. We thank you.
Sister Shirley says, have a great appointment. Love you both.
We love you too. We love you guys. Don't forget to have sex.